Hello, everyone. It is now time to kickstart our first session for ETHR World's Human Capital Experience Summit, APAC 2022. The opening keynote by Bob Chapman on the topic, Truly Human Leadership, the Skills and Courage to Care. Recently named the #3 CEO in the world by Inc. magazine, Bob Chapman is intentional about using his platform as a business leader to build a better world. He dreams of a world in which people leave work each day fulfilled by their work rather than drained by it. He imagines a world full of caring business environments in which people can realize their gifts, develop their talents, and feel a genuine sense of fulfillment for their contributions. And in this world, because their work is fulfilling, people go home happy and are better spouses, parents, neighbors, and friends. As chairman and CEO of a $3 billion global capital equipment firm, Barry-Wehmiller, Chapman has championed meaningful work and caring work environments through what he calls truly human leadership. This leadership philosophy and the transformation it brought about at Barry-Wehmiller were the inspiration behind his 2015 Wall Street Journal bestseller, Everybody Matters, the extraordinary power of caring for your people like family. Also in 2015, a leadership training firm, Chapman and Co-Leadership Institute, was founded to bring Barry-Wehmiller's trademark culture transformation training to for-profit organizations. During his keynote address today, Bob will challenge traditional thinking about how to run a business and how to be a caring and effective leader. He'll offer simple yet groundbreaking ideas on how to create safe, healthy, and fulfilling work environments grounded in people-centric leadership. You will leave inspired and equipped to implement some of his concepts today to help build better organizations for tomorrow. He hopes by sharing his story, you will join him in a movement that aspires to a society where people think of others first, a society where everybody matters. And before I invite Bob to deliver his keynote address, I would request our audience to keep sharing your thoughts and questions in the comments section. Let's keep that section buzzing. And now, without any further delay, let me invite Bob to deliver his opening keynote. Over to you, Bob.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to share this journey I've been on from what I call management to truly human leadership. And the message is, we're talking about the skills and the courage to care for the people you have the privilege of leading. In America, these are American statistics, but I speak all over the world and I speak in every part of our society, military, hospitals, nonprofits, government. And I find these universally true, that 88% of people feel they work for an organization that doesn't care about them. 74% of illnesses in our country are chronic. The biggest cause of chronic illness is stress, and the biggest cause of stress is work. Raj Sisodia, my co-author of my book, shared with me that there's a 20% increase in heart attacks on Monday morning. And Jeffrey Pfeiffer of Stanford recently wrote a book, Dying for a Paycheck, and he doesn't mean anxious to get one. He believes that work-related stress is killing over 120,000 people a year in America. We also learned recently, which is shocking, that 65% of all people would give up a salary increase if they could fire their boss. The CDC in America said that the person you report to at work is more important to your health than your family doctor. And 58% of all people said they'd trust a stranger before they would trust their boss. So what our society is suffering from is what I call leadership malpractice, which is creating what we call a poverty of dignity in this world, which is, because we have a world really that was based upon money, power, and position as success. And what we find, that is not the case. What we find, and Tom Friedman wrote it beautifully recently in the New York Times, more than a poverty of money, we have a poverty of dignity in the world, where people don't feel valued, they feel used. So that is the condition I find the world in, because we don't have management. Okay, we have management, we don't have leadership. So I look back on my education and I realized that I was taught management, not leadership. And to me, the word management means the manipulation of others for your success. And leadership is the stewardship of the lives you have the privilege of leading. In hindsight, I viewed people as an object for my success. I needed engineers, accountants, production workers, sales executives, but I saw them as a function. I was nice to them, but I saw them as means for my success. And success in our society is money, power, and position. And it doesn't matter how you get it as long as it's legal. But I was never taught how to inspire people. I was never taught to care about the people that I had the privilege of leading. I say a leader's responsibility is to give those in their span of care a grounded sense of hope for the future. Just to touch on it, Barry-Wehmiller today, when I began my journey, it was a $20 million, 100-year-old broken company without kind of outdated technology and not much of a future. And today in my journey, it's over a $3 billion firm, which is the combination of over 110 acquired company with 12,000 people around the world in our span of care. I'm going to mention this only to say that you can create human value and economic value in harmony. Our revenue has grown by 18% a year, but the share price of our company has grown by 16% a year, compounded for 25 years. So I'm not a nonprofit organization. I say we are a value creating organization. So I want to talk for a minute about my journey to truly human leadership from what I call the first half of my career, which was I call management, traditional business, to what I now call truly human leadership. And it's around people, purpose, and performance. In that order, it starts with our fundamental responsibility to the people we have the privilege of leading, around a purpose that inspires them to share their gifts. And then we have to perform, which I mean create value. We have to create both human value and economic value for the validity of our ability to be in business. So what people always ask me, what were the transformative experiences that changed my view of what a leader is? The first was in 1987. I just acquired a company in South Carolina. I flew down there to be there the first day. And when I walked in to get a cup of coffee in the lunchroom, it was before the office opened. It was March. And in March in America, people enjoy betting on college basketball games called March Madness. And I noticed while I was getting my cup of coffee, they didn't know me, I didn't know them, that they were having fun talking about which team won last night, where the office pool was in terms of, who was going to win the most. And it was just fun. And I noticed the closer it got to 8 o'clock when the office opened, you could just see the fun go out of their body. And that day, in hindsight, I said to myself, why can't business be fun? Why do we call it work? Which caused me to change, if you will, my focus. And I tried to create, starting that day, ways to create value that was fun, that people could see the score. For example, in our customer service area, where we sell a lot of spare parts for the equipment we build, we said, look, we're going to play a game. Whoever sells the most parts each week wins $100. And if the team makes a team goal, the team wins $100. And it was just a reaction to watching people bet on a basketball game. As a result, we saw our revenue go up by 20%, which I had no idea what. I just wanted people to have fun. But we saw joy go up by 1,000% because people now had fun, competing, contributing to each other, playing as a team, and recognize the goodness in each week of people who won. So again, big experience. That's where it began. Why can't business be fun? Cynthia and I belonged to an Episcopal church in St. Louis. Ed Salmon was our rector, and he was my mentor. Amazing rector of our church who helped me understand the purpose of life. One day I got up after Ed's sermon and I looked at Cynthia and I said, Cynthia, Ed has only got us for 1 hour a week. We have people for 40 hours a week. We are 40 times more powerful than the church to influence the lives that we have the privilege of leading. As I walked out of the church that day, I looked at Cynthia and I said, oh my goodness, business could be the most powerful force for good in the world if we simply cared about the people we had the privilege of leading. The third and the transformative event, and it's amazing to me in hindsight how these just occurred. Again, I was not stimulated by a book, a consultant, a mentor. These just revelations occurred in the way I thought. I was at a wedding of a friend of mine, and I was extremely touched at how proud my friend was walking his daughter down the aisle. And when he got up, and how everybody oohed and ahhed, how precious she looked, how proud the father was. As they got up to the altar, he said, I give my daughter to be married to this young man. And he sat down next to his wife as the wedding service continued. Now, that's what he was told to say last night, the previous night at the rehearsal. What he meant to say is, look at young man, her mother and I brought this young lady into this world. We've given her all the love and care we can possibly give her so she can be who she's intended to be. And we ask you, young man, to continue to allow this through this wedding for her to be who she's intended to be. Do you understand that, young man? That is what every father wants to say as he gives his precious daughter away. And then my mind, a little bit like that March Madness event in 1997, went to another place. All of a sudden I said, you know, the 12,000 people that work for us around the world, they're not engineers, accountants, production workers, hourly workers. They are somebody's precious child, just like that young lady and that young man, whose parents brought them into this world with the hope that they could be who they're intended to be and appreciated for whatever that is. So I ended up with this kind of capstone transformative event, reversing the lens I had had for my career, where I saw people as a function for my success. And that day at that wedding, that lens was completely reversed. And all of a sudden I saw those 12,000 people in our organization in the world as somebody's precious child. And the way I run our company, the way we treat those people on a daily basis would have a profound impact on their life. And that changed everything for me. That is the foundation of truly human leadership. And so we were trying to share, if you will, this message with others. And we're talking about how success, which is normally organic growth, profitability growth, market share growth. And in that environment in the discussion, all of a sudden I said, you know, we measure success all wrong in this country. It's about money, power, and position. We need to measure success by the way we touch the lives of people, not just our internal team members, but our customers, our suppliers, our bankers, all those lives in our journey we touch. We need to think about the impact we make on them. So what do I want to share with you all with this privilege I have today is, what have we learned about leadership? My hope is that you will never use the word management again, that you will talk, you know, we have in the language of business, you know, we have bosses and managers and administrators. We need leaders, mentors, and coaches. But so what is leadership? Leadership is the stewardship of the lives entrusted to you. It is a responsibility. It's a privilege, just like parenting. I learned more about leadership in reflection, raising our 6 kids, than I ever did in business school. And there's no difference in parenting and leadership. It is a sense of responsibility for the lives entrusted to you. And we can create economic and human value in harmony. They are not in disharmony. Caring for people is not an expense. It is a responsibility. And as I said earlier, leaders give those in their span of care a grounded sense of hope for the future. Our job as leaders is to give those people who give us the gift of their talents every day, to send them home each night feeling safe, valued, and having a future with us. That is our responsibility, to look out on the horizon, see where we're going, why we want to go there, and when we get there, why will we have taken our people to a better place? I would say to you that, again, a key in this is really a combination of a business model and a culture. I was participating in the teaching of our case study at Harvard. Barry-Wehmiller's case study on our culture has become one of Harvard's bestsellers, and I was there when it was being introduced. And people debated, is Barry-Wehmiller successful because of its culture or its strategy? And after a great debate, 75% of these global executives voted that it was because of our culture we were so successful. And they asked me to comment on that. I never thought about it. And I stood up in front of this 160 global business executives and said, I understand, because this case is about our culture, why you might think it's our culture. But the key to our success is our business model. Again, it's like Ferrari building the most perfect engine. But unless you put premium fuel in that engine will never perform to the potential it was designed to. So our culture is the premium fuel that we pour into our business model that allows our business model to perform. You can't pour premium fuel into a lesser designed engine and think it's going to perform like a Ferrari. So again, your responsibility is to make sure for those people in your care that you have a business model that's going to give them a chance to raise a family, to buy a home, to have a sustainable income. That is your responsibility as a leader. And again, it's about people, purpose, and performance, but it takes skills and courage to care. And the greatest of all leadership skills we found is listening. Listening not to debate, not to judge, but listening to understand and validate the worth of the people you have the privilege of leading. What we have found in this journey is that people, everybody at every point in your organization, they simply want to know that who they are and what they do matters. And you and your organization have the opportunity, the responsibility to validate their worth, what they do, who they are, so that we can send them home and they can be good spouses, be good parents, be good citizens. I was never taught, never heard that the way we would run our company would impact those in our span of care the way they live. But as I said earlier, the person you report to at work is more important to your health than your family doctor. And when we teach people to be leaders in Barry-Wehmiller University, 95% of the feedback is how it improves their marriage and their relationship with their kids. Never occurred to me that we would impact people's personal lives other than income. So I want to make sure you understand something. You can't ask your leaders to care because they're going to say, sure. You've got to teach them how to care. That is what we do in our university. That's what has allowed us to evolve from a management environment to a leadership environment where people genuinely feel valued and they go home at night and can be better husbands, wives, mothers, fathers, citizens in our country. So business could be the most powerful force for good in the world if we simply cared about the people we had the privilege of leading. We began an internal university about 15 years ago because my concern was, how would this live beyond my time? And I needed to create disciples who would carry this message of truly human leadership beyond my time. And we came up with 3 unique ways of converting managers into leaders. And the foundation is empathetic listening, which is the greatest skill any human being can have. Mother, father, friend, business leader, partner, is to listen to understand, not listen to debate and judge. We also teach, I was taught when we were raising our 6 kids, that if we didn't compliment our kids 5 times more than we suggested things they would do better, it would be difficult for them. Adults are no different. So how do you, in thoughtful, timely, appropriate ways, let people know they matter? And it's called shining a light in your organization, looking for the goodness, holding it up and saying, thank you. As somebody said, before we started this, I got 10 things right and I never heard a word. I got 1 thing wrong and I got in a lot of trouble. How do we focus on the goodness in people, hold it up and say thank you? And embracing a service mindset. How do we create an environment where we are focused on doing the best in our professional role so that those to the right and left of you in your organization have a better future because you play your role well in service to others. It's moving from a me-centric world, it's all about me and my career, to a we-centric focus where we genuinely care about each other. And again, it's still amazing me, 95% of the feedback we get when we convert managers into leaders through our university is how it affects their marriage, which has a profound impact on this world. So again, Steve Jones, one of the winningest football coaches in the state of Wisconsin, never talks about winning. He talks about playing your position well for your fellow team members. Again, moving from a me-centric to a we-centric world. Raj Sisodia talks about the trade-off between love and profit. We can care for people and create value. It's not a trade-off, okay? But you got to have a good business model to be good to your people. Otherwise, you will hurt them. Some people say it's about getting the right people on the bus. I say it's about building a safe bus and having drivers who know where they're going and how to drive that bus safely. And then everybody on that bus is going to do fine. Simon Sinek points out, who studies the military, and he studied Barry-Wehmiller. In the military, we give medals to those willing to sacrifice themselves so that others may gain. In business, we give bonuses to those willing to sacrifice others so that they may gain. Simon would look you in the eye and say, if we can teach military leaders your primary responsibilities of the men and women in your care, why can't we teach business leaders the same? Your primary responsibilities of the men and women in your care. We wrote the book, Everybody Matters, because people from around the world, starting with Simon Sinek, Bill Urey, Raj Sisodia, heard about our culture, started coming in and saying, I've never seen anything like it. You have to share it. And we wrote the book with the beauty of Raj's contribution from his writing, Conscious Capitalism. And the manifesto of the book is this simple. Everybody wants to do better. Trust them. Leaders are everywhere. Find them. People achieve good things, big and small, every day. Celebrate them. Some people wish things were different. Listen to them matter. Listen to them. Everybody matters. Show them. That is our responsibility, leaders. We can, in business, if our focus is our people, making sure we have a good business model that gives them a sense of a future and give them a sense of playing their role in the organization to contribute to their colleagues' future, we can begin healing this poverty of dignity in the world through truly human leadership. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share this message. Are you the leader that you would want to have yourself? Are you the leader you would want your children to have? That is the challenge I leave you with, because if we have a world like that, the brokenness we're feeling would dissipate dramatically. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. That was such an inspiring session. It is so true that people don't feel valued anymore. There isn't a poverty of money, but a poverty of dignity. And this is where leadership that cares is going to be so critical. You can create human value and economic value in harmony, as you rightly said. And leadership is a responsibility for the lives that are entrusted to you, a privilege like parenting. So you can ask leaders, cannot ask leaders to care. You have to teach them how to care. Very beautifully put through. I think if you focus on becoming better leaders, you will have people going home happy and feeling more fulfilled each day. So, and let us move from a me-centric world to a we-centric world, as you rightly said. After all, everybody matters. So Bob, thank you so much. That was very, very inspiring for all of us.
Thank you for the opportunity to share this message. And I hope I've touched your heart and we can begin healing this poverty of dignity in the world.
Absolutely, you have. Absolutely. Thank you. And to our audience, thank you so much for joining us. We have some engaging sessions planned for you all through the day. So stay with us, experience the sessions, interact with fellow leaders, participate in our activities, and enhance your learning. Stay tuned for the day and stay with us all through this day. Thank you so much.